Hey guys, welcome back. This is Smiles from Swiss Crypto Podcast, and in this video I'm gonna talk about Swiss crypto regulations. So stay tuned and let's get into it. Before we start, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, make sure to click the subscription button down below, click the bell to get notified. I try to upload at least once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, and bring some well-researched content right to you. So let's start. I've always wanted to do a video about crypto regulations in Switzerland because not every country has their regulations yet when it comes to cryptocurrency, and for the normal retail investor, those crypto regulations are probably not that easy to understand. That's why I went over the publication from FINMA, the Swiss Financial Markets Supervisory, that gave out some regulation for cryptocurrencies in Switzerland, and I want to shortly highlight them and bring them to you so you also understand it. First, let's just have a look at how crypto regulation looks in the USA, the United States, that are considered as the leading country when it comes to economy next to the Chinese. In the USA, there's not that much crypto regulation going on. Actually, they are still working with the Securities and Exchange Act of 1934. Yes, you've heard right, 1934. That's about 85 years ago. And that act will also be used, or is currently used also, with cryptocurrencies. And I don't have to explain that one to you. You'll see this act won't fit for cryptocurrencies because internet didn't exist, cryptocurrencies didn't exist, and people didn't have anything in mind that came close to cryptocurrencies. So let's make a jump away from the USA and get to countries, or one country that is still leading the field when it comes to cryptocurrencies, and that is Switzerland. How does crypto regulation look like in Switzerland? And to begin with, we have to clear what FINMA really means. FINMA is the Swiss Financial Market Supervisory, and FINMA is kind of like the SEC or the CFTC combined in America, the United States. But in contrary to those two in the USA, the FINMA really gets work done and also published some regulations for cryptocurrencies. So how does FINMA look at cryptocurrencies? FINMA actually categorizes tokens into 3 different types. The first type are payment tokens. And payment tokens are synonymous with cryptocurrencies. They don't have further functions or links to other development projects. Their only use is to pay for something. The next type are the utility tokens, and the utility tokens are intended to provide a digital access to an application or service. They can give voting rights or for transaction costs. And last but not least are the asset tokens. The asset tokens represent assets such as participations in real companies or an entitlement to dividends. And they are analogous to equities, bonds, or derivatives. Derivatives. I don't know how to pronounce that, but you get what I mean. So, and this is a very important point. Everything that is connected to a company and that gives you the right to an entitlement or a dividend is considered an asset token. Now, how is FINMA handling ICOs when it comes to the anti-money laundering? As you guys probably know, all the cryptocurrencies have to comply with anti-money laundering laws just to prevent the rich people to launder their money with cryptocurrencies. And when it comes to the payment ICOs, they do require compliance with anti-money laundering regulations, but FINMA will not, however, treat such tokens as securities. That's very important. We've had a lot of discussions going on when it comes to crypto regulation in the US, because nobody knows what cryptocurrencies count as securities, what cryptocurrencies do not count as securities, and so on and so on. And as I explained to you, the US is still relying on the Securities and Exchange Act of 1934, which makes it a bit more complicated than it should be. And FINMA just proved it's very easy, just publish a regulation act. And in this case, for payment ICOs, the FINMA will not treat such tokens as securities. How does it look like for the utility ICOs? These tokens do not qualify as securities only if their sole purpose is to confer digital access rights to an application or service, and if the utility token can already be used in this way at the point of issue. If a utility token functions solely or partially as an investment in economic terms, FINMA will treat such tokens as securities. So depending on how you use the utility token, FINMA will treat it as a security or they won't treat it as a security. For the last one, the asset ICOs, FINMA regards asset tokens as securities. So they make it very clear asset tokens, asset ICOs count as securities, which means that there are securities law requirements for trading in such tokens as well as civil law requirements under the Swiss Code of Obligations. So these are the main 3 important points that you have to keep in mind when you ask yourself what laws are coming into play when it comes to cryptocurrencies and how they are regulated in Switzerland, especially because Switzerland has a leading role in cryptocurrencies. You don't have to read the whole publication. If you're interested in that, I've linked it down below. For the ones that don't want to read it, just focus on those 3 main points: the payments tokens, the utility tokens, and the assets tokens and how they are counted as. And to close this podcast, I want to cite the CEO of the FINMA, Mark Branson, which commented, "The application of blockchain technology has innovative potential within and far beyond the financial markets. However, blockchain-based projects conducted analogously to regulated activities cannot simply circumvent the tried and tested regulatory framework. Our balanced approach to handling ICO projects and inquiries allows legitimate innovators to navigate the regulatory landscape and to launch their projects in a way consistent with our laws protecting investors and the integrity of the financial system." So 2 very important points out of this citation. First one, Mark Branson highlights how blockchain technology is important and will be important in the future, not only for financial markets, but also for other markets or applications in other fields of technology. Second is that the FINMA actively tries to make regulation understandable and easy for startups or companies that are working on or with ICO projects and inquiries, in contrary to the US authorities, who really didn't get to the point until 2019, still don't get to the point actually. And I can understand every company that is looking for another country than the US when it comes to blockchain technology projects or to start a startup that works on blockchain or cryptocurrencies. So what I want to show you with this one, if you have a crypto company, come to Switzerland, best place to start this one. So guys, that's been it for today's podcast. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I made it understandable for the retail investors of you. If you've liked the content I provided, please thumbs up for the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next podcast.